Corporate radio 5 nights a week. It's Jann Scott Tonight on AM 710, the business station.
Hi, Denver. 83 degrees? I can't believe it. Is it really 83 degrees? It's 83 degrees in Denver, 9:45. Still pretty hot out there. You know, we're going to talk motor racing here for, let me see, probably till around a quarter after or so, 20 after. Dr. Frank Martin's going to be with us in a little bit. And we will be talking about sports medicine. Now, I understand joining us with Dr. Frank Martin will be Dr. Wayne Gersoff, who's the sports medicine specialist for the athletics department at the University of Colorado at the Health Sciences Center. Very, very famous guy. He's going to be with us, too, later on in the show. We're going to go to 11 because the game was late tonight. We will also have with us Gene Talbert, who is the Director of Communications. Actually, she's the person in charge of volunteering for the Denver Grand Prix. And if you are interested in volunteering during the week of the Grand Prix or the weeks before it, you want to stay tuned and listen to what we're going to be talking about. Maybe a way for you to get into the race for free. Maybe a way for you to work on the race, because races like this always need lots of help, lots of responsible people to help. Okay, so she'll be with us in just a little bit. Now, there's a few things I want you to know before we get into this evening's program. One is we are going to go 4 hours a night on Fridays. We'll be on from 8 until midnight most every Fridays, except for this Friday, where we are preempted by baseball, so we won't be on at all. That's great. And then Saturday, we'll be on for a couple of hours. Oh, Saturdays we're on from 6 until 9. Sundays, 6 until 9. And then during the week, we'll be on from 9 until 9:10 with a commentary on both motor racing and other sports fitness things that we'll be talking about. Now, all the mountain sports events will be talked about on Sunday nights at around 8:30 with George Braxick. 8 o'clock, Tom Fletcher will be here when we talk about endurance events such as biathlons, triathlons, that kind of stuff. Bob Carlson also be coming in with us also, and the other runners and walkers on Sunday nights. Friday nights, motor racing for a 1 hour where we will preview what's coming up on the weekends, except this weekend we won't be on Friday night, so we'll do it on Saturday night for an hour. This Saturday night, 1 hour of motor racing previews. July 4th weekend is probably the largest racing weekend in Colorado. There's something like 7 days of racing going on this weekend all over the place, quite a bit of it. So we'll talk about that on Saturday night as you're on your way to the different motor racing tracks. Let's see, what else? We're going to talk about boxing and the fighting arts continuing on Friday nights. And actually, Clarence Thatch and Marcia Buddy are going to come in with us on a regular basis and help coordinate that program. They were the most successful guests we've ever had on for the Fighting Arts segment. So we're going to expand in lots of different ways. We're going to do more things in cycling, more things in mountain bike racing, all the endurance events. So you really want to look for me on weekends, especially somewhere after 6 o'clock at night. 8 till 12 on Fridays, 6 to 9 on Saturdays, 6 to 9 on Sundays. And then for about 10 minutes every night between 9 and 9:10 for a commentary and updates. All right, without further ado, let's do this. We're going to go and talk with Gene Talbert with the Denver Grand Prix, actually better known as the Texaco Havalin Grand Prix of Denver. So is it true, Gene, do you need volunteers for this race coming up?
Yes, we do, Jan. We have targeted an amount of 1,400 volunteers to staff 12 race-related areas to make this a go.
So you need 1,400. How many do you have now?
I have a little over 1,000 at this point.
So you need 400 more volunteers. Now, incidentally, let me give the phone number here tonight. 825-5710 is the number, and you have 12 different committees.
Yes, we do.
Now, go ahead.
Okay. Well, last September I sat down with the Director of Race Operations, and we created the 12 different committees.
Who's the director, Alan?
Yes, Alan Wilson is our Director of Race Operations.
He was on a couple days ago.
Okay, all right. And we defined the 12 areas that we felt volunteers could make a great contribution to the race. And some of the areas, I certainly won't go into detail all of them tonight, but...
Oh, we can.
We can? Okay.
Yeah, we've got a half an hour to talk about this. So I really, we've had a lot of people call us and ask us about volunteering for racing, and so we've been trying to get you on here for the past month, so I'm glad we have the time to talk about this.
Okay, well, let's just start with them.
Okay.
The crowd marshals would be the first committee, and this is basically the people that will augment other security around the track. A lot of people enter with credentials, so the crowd marshals will say, yes, you may enter this area, yes, no, you may not, depending on the credentials that you are wearing on yourself at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Another area we have is called the Denver Grand Prix Association's Food Services. And I might backtrack for just a minute to say that the volunteer arm of the race is called the Denver Grand Prix Association. Now, the Food Services Committee will cook, prepare, and serve food that is served only to the volunteers. So they are cooking for their own groups.
So it's volunteers cooking for so you get fed when you're a volunteer.
You bet, you bet.
Now, how long does a volunteer... Well, I'll let you go through the committees with that. Go ahead.
Okay. Our next committee then would be the support services. And this is an area where you are basically a jack of all trades. You will help distribute race shirts and hats to the volunteers, meal tickets, and any other things that we deem necessary that the volunteers need distribution to.
Let me give the phone number, 825-5710, if you want to talk with Gene Talbert tonight from the Denver Grand Prix. We're talking about volunteering for the race coming up on August 24th and 26th. In case you didn't know, there's a big kart race going to be in downtown Denver, but of course you know. So go ahead.
Okay. Another area is called the Facility Services, and this is directly working with Alan Wilson, our Director of Race Operations, in assuring that our course is ready to go and functionable by late Thursday night, the 23rd. So these workers will be doing things such as setting up the communication systems, the scoreboards, light construction, putting up signage all over the track. These are a few things that they'll be doing. They will be doing a lot of this before the race and then maintaining during the race, and then immediately following the race, the reverse will happen and they'll have the tear down.
Okay.
Get all of it back in order again.
Well, almost reminds me of when they had the big course classic races in Boulder and the Red Zinger races, the big bicycle races. They'd set up these giant courses and then take them down with lots of volunteers.
Well, we will not, close any of the cross streets until after rush hour traffic on Thursday night, and they will be open again for traffic Monday morning. So with the race starting Friday morning and ending late Sunday afternoon, you can see that a lot of work has to be done in a short period of time, and this committee really assists with that.
Okay, so that's the facility services. All right.
The next committee would be gate operations, and we will have a lot of ticket booths all over the track.
Did you say gay operations?
No, gate.
Oh, gate operations. All right.
Right.
I didn't know. It's special minority privileges there. I had
That's
no
right.
idea.
No, G-A-T-E.
I mean, I saw, what was it I saw in the paper today? Oh, they're going to have a gay rodeo. That should be a big time. Never mind. Go ahead.
Anyway, the gate operations will take care of people that have not
You're right.
pre-purchased their tickets, and so the duties will be obviously selling the tickets and reconciling sales and resolving problems, etc.
Counting money? Oh, so you don't want any convicted armed robber felons in that particular...
Exactly.
Okay.
Don't want any deadbeats on this committee.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Another committee is the hospitality area. We will have a tremendous amount of corporate sponsors involved with this race, as you well know, and the hospitality area is basically in Civic Center Park, where a lot of suites and chalets will be set up. So the volunteers will assist the corporate host in making his chalet or suite run very smoothly.
Can I ask you a little bit about this? Where are all the corporate chalets and suites?
They will be, the majority of them will be in Civic Center Park,
Oh, okay.
which is in the inside of the track.
Ah, and will they? I mean, are there buildings already? Are there buildings already there? Or are you gonna...
No, these will be tents.
Oh, they'll be tents.
Uh-huh. All over Civic Center
Oh,
Park.
it's where you get all the good food and stuff
You
if you
bet.
happen to be on the
Yeah.
inside of the deal.
Right.
And what sort of corporations? What corporations do you have signed up that are going to have hospitality tents?
Well, I'm not really familiar with the names at this point, but there will be a lot of them.
Texaco will be there, huh?
Yes, absolutely. They have a tent. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I was kind of curious. I didn't know who was doing what. Okay. So hospitality.
Uh-huh. And the next area would be information booths. We will have those on track and off track. Off track before the race, we have purchased 3 Indy cars which are out on tour. They are the real race cars without the engine. So, for instance, here's one area that the volunteer can be involved with the car, and we will take it. It will be out at Stapleton Airport sometime in July, I believe, or early August. And the volunteers will go out with the car and will man an information booth next to it. Now, go ahead.
Are you in charge of that information booth?
Yes, I mean, it's under the volunteer, yes.
Do you think we can get one of those cars in the information booth over here at KNUS?
I don't know. I can certainly give you the name of the lady to talk to.
Okay. Sure.
But not
I'd like
only...
to drive one around if I could. Is that possible?
Without an engine.
Oh, no. We have to
push
put
you.
an engine in it.
Right,
A little
right.
small block Chevy probably
Right.
make it go all right. Okay.
Right. But the information booth, we are not only, obviously, giving information about the Texaco Havalin Grand Prix of Denver, but also about Denver and the state of Colorado. So it will be a dual purpose for any economic development coming into Denver, you know, especially at Stapleton, people that we hope then will turn around and come back to the race.
Sure.
Now, when the information booths are on track during race weekend, then it will be more of a informational type booth with assistance, you know, for all types of information.
There'll be a lot of people here.
You bet.
How many people do you expect totally? Teams, corporate people, ticket buyers, how many people do you expect at the race that weekend?
You know, Jan, I really don't know, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
An awful lot.
A lot.
Yes.
30, 20,000, 30,
Oh, no,
40,
it would
50?
be, you know, I would hope that it would be upwards of 100,000. But,
Oh,
you know, I really don't know.
Well, no, I don't know either. That's why I just
Yeah.
sort of asked for a guess. Okay.
Our next area is the office, and we already have volunteers assisting the Grand Prix staff in a myriad of functions right now in the office, and then they will help staff the office during race weekend also.
Really? Oh, so you have volunteers already in the office doing all
We
kinds of
certainly
things,
do.
huh?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And the next area is registration, and this is one of the important areas. Obviously, if the race registration means also credentialing, and we will be credentialing quite a few people. These are people that do not have a seat, a reserved seat, but they have credentials for entry to the track and different areas.
And so when you're talking, what kind of people fall into that category? The International Press Corps,
Right, exactly. The media, the print, the electronic media, VIPs, guests, etc.
You know, that's one thing we haven't really talked about too much, but one thing that I think fans should know and people listening is that that's going to be an event in itself. The International Press Corps follows the kart races, and you virtually have reporters and people from all over the world. They will come to Denver to record this. There'll be several, 200 or 300 or 400 members of the press alone in town.
Yes, that is true. And we are already receiving requests, you know, for press credentials, so,
Right.
and have been for many months. So we're excited and hope they all come.
Yeah.
Cover us. The next area is special events, and we will be running several special events, and the volunteers will assist in making these events come about. We are going to have a mall show, we're going to have a transporters parade, we're going to have a golf tournament, and we're going to have a pre-race parade. So the volunteers are all involved in these 4 areas.
You know what we need to do here? Gene, can you hang on for just a minute?
I'd be glad.
We have to take a break. We need to go to New York City for the ABC News Network. Gene Talbert is with us by telephone. She's the director of the Denver Grand Prix Association. That's the volunteers. They need 1,400 right now. They've got 1,000. 825-5710 if you want to get in on this conversation tonight. If you're thinking about volunteering, hey, call us tonight if you have any questions. 825-5710. Here we go to New York.
Business is what we're all about. AM 710, KNUS, Denver. Direct from ABC News, I'm Ashley Martella. Parts of the bone-dry Southwest are being ravaged by fires. The worst has damaged or destroyed 28 expensive homes in the Los Angeles suburb of Glendale. Fire Captain Steve Wood says record 100-degree-plus heat isn't the only problem they're dealing with.
We have a light wind that we've had all day long, so I'm sure obviously it's been affecting the sporadic nature of the fire, jumping from ridgetop to ridgetop and from home to home.
Investigators say that fire, the worst in L.A. County in 5 years, was set. In Arizona's Tonite National Forest, a wildfire that killed 6 firemen Tuesday is now spread over 1,500 acres of brush and timber. 60 summer homes have been destroyed, another 70 are threatened. Governor Rose Moffords declared a state of emergency in Gila County. Nelson Mandela will arrive in Miami shortly for the most controversial stop on his U.S. tour. Cuban-American groups are outraged over his defense of communist dictator Fidel Castro. They plan rallies against him. The Miami City Commission refused to declare Thursday Nelson Mandela Day, and black leaders say they'll try to hold those politicians accountable on Election Day. In Atlanta tonight, thousands of people turned out at Georgia Tech's football stadium for a rally. Mandela praised civil rights leader Martin Luther King.
Dr. King lit up the firmament of struggle against racism, injustice, poverty, and war. In our prison cells, we felt a kinship and affinity with him, and were inspired by his indomitable fighting spirit.
Civil rights activist Hosea Williams and 7 others were arrested outside the stadium as they protested Mandela's lack of access to poor people in Atlanta. Some big trouble with Hubble. The space telescope's primary camera is all but useless. Manufacturing error. NASA hopes to fix it during a space shuttle mission next year. Lithuania's leaders met with Soviet President Gorbachev in Moscow today, only to be told again the republic must freeze its declaration of independence before economic sanctions would end and negotiations would begin. Ashley Martella, ABC News. Spitfire Automotive is a hyper-performance, complete machine shop. Spitfire has complete cam grinding and engine balancing. Spitfire also does a line, boring, honing, and block grinding with a BHJ Block True Block Prep. Spitfire Automotive at 903 Federal Boulevard. Call Mac or Elaine for all your engine building needs. 573-8515. That's 573-8515. Or stop on by the shop at 903 Federal Boulevard. Spitfire Automotive. It's time for a new look at business, the business of motor racing. It's Jann Scott tonight on AM 710, the business station.
825-5710 is the talk number here if you want to talk about volunteering for the big race coming up, the Denver Grand Prix. With us by telephone is Gene Talbert, who is the director of the Denver Grand Prix Association. She's in charge of the volunteers, and we've been talking about different, there are 12 different committees that you can volunteer on. There's also a criteria to be a volunteer, and we're going to talk about that in just a second, too. But so far we've gone through the crowd marshals, food support services. We're going to keep going on with this. So, Gene, we were at special events. Now, what is that again?
Okay, we will be putting on several special events during race weekend or even a little bit before that. And it will lead off on Wednesday with a transporters parade. And that entails the rigs will come into town and we will stage them probably over at McNichols Arena. And then we will have this great parade to bring them over to the paddocks and back them in and park them. And then, obviously these rigs are, I don't know whether you've ever seen one or not, but they're fantastic. They're like big semis, and the race cars are...
Oh, yeah.
in them, and you can eat your dinner off the floors. They're so clean, and
Yeah.
all the tools in them and everything. And I guess I would liken it to, when the circus comes to town and they have the big parade from the train to the place where the circus is going to be held. And this is going to be the safest.
Yeah, these IndyCar rigs are even more phenomenal than that. A.J. Foyt won the, what was it, the best-looking, he had the best-looking truck. I mean, they are, for people who are familiar with race towing rigs, these are absolutely the nicest.
They're beautiful.
Yeah.
Another area then will be the mall shows, and we will hold a mall show on, I believe it's Thursday. The details of it I'm not too familiar with now because it will be run by our Director of Promotions, but the volunteers will assist her on that. We will, on Thursday, have a golf tournament that will benefit St. John's Hospice and also CODA, which is a organization, transplant organization that the race drivers are very close to.
CODA?
Uh-huh.
C-O-D-A?
C-O-T-A.
Oh, I thought it was like CODA, like as in Codependence Anonymous.
Right.
Okay.
And that will be held at Welshire, the golf course.
Uh-huh.
And so the volunteers will be assisting on the golf tournament. And I mentioned one other thing, too, and I can't remember. Oh, the pre-race parade.
Yeah.
And this is, before the Indy race on Sunday, we will have a pre-race parade. It will start at the start-finish line, and it will go all the way around the track. And there will be dignitaries and bands and all that type of thing involved in that. So it really gets everybody all up for the race and ready to go.
Yeah, and also there's a Trans Am race before, isn't there?
There's a Trans Am race on Saturday.
Right. Oh, okay, and presumably the volunteers will be working that race too?
Well, no, this is just the well, they'll be on the track, sure. I mean, they'll be around the track, but the pre-race parade is what they're involved with under special events.
All right, so what's the next...
Our next committee then is transportation. As I have said to all of them, if it moves, transportation will handle it.
Huh.
So this is a committee that will secure all the different types of vehicles that we will be using around the race course during the race. Cars to use for the drivers to pick them up at the airport, golf carts that will be used around the track. This committee will be taking lunches out to the corner workers and the flagmen around the track, obviously during the lunch hour. So transportation will do a lot of hauling, moving, and we need a lot of able bodies, arms and legs to work on that committee.
Yeah. How long are they going to work for? How long are the volunteers going to work for when they're volunteering?
Well, it depends on what committee they sign up for. Some of them do a little bit of work ahead of time. Others, some committees are only Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of race week.
Okay. Now, transport, then what's the next committee?
And our last committee is the ushers. And we will need about 200 to 250 ushers, and they will be stationed in all the grandstands to assist people in finding their seats and any information that they need to know.
Oh, okay. Well, this is kind of interesting. I didn't realize that you had such an elaborate system of volunteers planned for this race. But I guess, is this typical for the kart street races?
Yes, it really is, because you really cannot put on a race of this size without this help. I mean, you cannot hire 1,400 people. Your profit margin would really be different. So the volunteer part of the race is really a very important area.
Okay, and let's talk about then volunteering. What's to just give us the whole skinny on what's the deal?
We do have 3 requirements to become a volunteer. Number 1 is you have to be 18 years of age or older, simply for insurance purposes.
Sure.
Number 2, you have to commit to giving a minimum of 30 hours to the race, be it before the race, during the race, or the teardown on Sunday night and Monday of the race. And some of the committees, that's combination of all the things. Others, it's just Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The ushers, the marshals, and the hospitality and areas like that are only Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the commitment.
Okay. I suppose you have, okay, go ahead. I suppose you have volunteers, and then you have volunteers in charge of specific, like, little teams and stuff, huh?
Yes. As I love to call it, our pecking order is that we have chairmen, and then we will have area supervisors, and if it still needs to be broken down, we'll have team captains. So then,
okay.
Right.
Well,
then I did, Jan, want to mention the last requirement, and that is that you join the Denver Grand Prix Association, and there is a $20 fee associated with that. Now, I can tell you the benefits that you will receive for this, but the real reason that I have set this up is when I started recruiting the volunteers back last October, I probably could have had 1,400 on board without a bat of an eye. But I felt, because I have worked other sports promotion, that when you put a monetary commitment with your voluntary commitment, then you are much more apt to follow through with it. Now, for the $20, you will receive, all the volunteers will be dressed alike, so they will be easily recognized from the patrons on track. We will provide a golf-type race shirt for you and a hat. You will be fed your meals during race weekend, and then at the end of the race, on Sunday, we will have a big volunteer party for all the volunteers.
well, that's got to be worth $20 right there.
Sure.
No, I know, but you pay. I mean, this sounds a little odd. You're going to pay $20 to work 30 hours.
That's right.
Does that sound a little odd?
Well,
no, tell me. I mean, talk to me about this.
I'm really very, very convinced of this.
That's a heck of a deal.
Yeah.
That reminds me of a book Tom Sawyer once wrote. No, I mean, Mark Twain wrote about, you know the story of whitewashing the fence? But this is not the same principle. This is,
Well, but you look at it this way.
Okay.
If I had 1,400 volunteers on board with no commitment other than they said they would volunteer, how can I count on that for sure that come Wednesday or Thursday preceding race weekend that they're all going to show up? And I really, truly believe this, that when you have the monetary commitment with it, you're going to do it.
Really, it's almost like buying a ticket in a way?
Well, and another thing, the volunteers, I forgot to mention this.
Yeah.
By the credentialing that they have to be volunteers, their credential lets them into general admission areas. Therefore, when they are not working, when they're on a break, etc., they will be able to watch the race. If what they're doing, if you're an usher, obviously you can see the race, but some areas won't. So therefore, your credential will get you into the general admission areas. It's not a seat, but you will be able to see the race.
And I suppose there's all the camaraderie that goes along with being a volunteer, being a part of the Grand Prix,
Very much so.
being on staff. I mean, it's it has to be a big time for, even to be involved for a whole week.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah, because you get to be on the inside of everything.
You do, and you really know the inner workings of how a race is produced, which is it's really very exciting. And I guess probably the general public doesn't realize what it takes and the man hours, etc., and the planning to put on a race. I mean, it looks very simple, but all the way from construction and all the 101,000 details that go along with that.
Yeah, I don't think Denver fully is aware yet what is about to take place with this Grand Prix going on in downtown Denver. I mean, we kind of have an idea, but the amounts of people and the celebration and all of that kind of, it's just going to be, it's going to be a party for...
It really is, and that is our number one objective, is to create this festive atmosphere. And it really, once you create it, it almost happens on its own.
It's like going on vacation in your own hometown.
Exactly.
I know, living in Boulder, whenever we don't have the big bike races there too much, but like there's the Boulder, or to a lesser degree the Boulder, but the Redzinger Classics and some of the bike races were just phenomenal. I mean, the whole town would stop for a week for a major, a race that would bring as many as 30 or 40,000 extra people into the town.
That's right. And I don't know whether it's been mentioned before, but one of our ultimate aims is economic development in Denver and the state of Colorado. And I do not know the figures what we anticipate, but I do know that a lot of the hotels are already sold out, and restaurants will benefit by this, vendors, shops, etc. Because it really is a festive mood, and people really get with it.
We're talking with Gene Talbert tonight, who is the Denver Grand Prix Association Director, which is Director of Communications for the Texaco Havalin Grand Prix of Denver. Incidentally, our number here is 825-5710. We're talking about volunteering during the race. Speaking of that festive mood, can you talk a little bit about Andy Schlenker's vision? I've heard in passing that some people are starting to catch on to what his original vision was for this race. You know what I'm talking about here?
Well, I mean, it's still what we've already discussed,
Okay.
that this is a festival. And along with that, it's going to produce a lot of economic development for the city of Denver and the state of Colorado. And we'll be put on the map through this, once again.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see. What else about volunteers? What can volunteers do, Gene? What kind of volunteers do you have now, and what are you looking for?
I have a variety of volunteers, Jan. It's unbelievable. It goes all the way. I have every type of professional that you can think of. I have...
Well, give me an example. What are a couple of them? Do you have any doctors?
Yes, right.
Okay.
I've got doctors, I've got lawyers, I've got CPAs, I have bankers, I have insurance people.
No, wait a minute. What's a banker going to volunteer? Will he be collecting money at the gate?
I have no idea. I can't remember what they're all doing.
Lawyers, lawsuits if there are any accidents.
All right. And then I have the great, a fellow that delivers on a route, and a lot of mechanics. And
mechanics?
Yes, carpenters. I mean, it's just, I think almost every avocation that you have, I've got a volunteer that fits that.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh, do you actually have a list of this is what we need? We need some carpenters, or we need some mechanics. Or
no, what I've done on the application form, and people that will request it will see, I've just asked for your occupation. Mm-hmm. And it's for the reason that, mainly for the chairman to get to know the person more, what they do, et cetera, but if we ever got in a bind and I can look through the computer and see, well, my goodness, we're in dire need of a carpenter, or we need a computer expert in this area, or whatever, it's at our fingertips.
Okay. And how did people originally start signing up? How did they even know to volunteer? How did they even know to contact you back in October? And how have you been getting the word out? Gee, we need volunteers.
I would say, September of last year, all the wheels were put in motion and the applications were printed and whatever. And at that point, I probably had about 200 names of people that had just called in. And I sent those out. Mm-hmm. Then we put out a newspaper called Preview. Right. So we wrote articles about the volunteer program with a little clip-out coupon to send in to receive the information about it. So we had a lot that way. Then I went to several different groups and talked to them. For instance, the Porsche Club of America is very involved with us, very heavy into the ushering area. The Colorado Four-Wheel Drive Association is involved with us. SCCA is heavily involved with us. And so I went to talk to these groups, and then it just kind of pyramided from
by something different. So people come to races for all different reasons, and that's all there. And drag racing is the only motorsport where you can come and actually meet the drivers and walk around the pit area and get autographs and watch the crews working on the cars. In other types of auto racing, you just get to sit in the stands and watch the cars go around the track. In drag racing, you get to come down and meet everyone.
In fact, if you want to talk to Lauri Johns, the number is here, 825-5710. I have some autographed pictures here. If someone wants an autographed picture, give us a call, 825-5710, and it's yours. Lauri, I have another question for you, too.
Uh-huh.
And it was pointed out to me, John was saying to me earlier, he said, remember, Jan, that Lauri Johns is a racer. She's not an object. And the fact of the matter, for those people who do not know you, you're 24 years old?
Uh-huh.
Okay. She's beautiful. She's been on the cover of big pictures in newspapers, magazines, etc. And she stands a good chance of winning the Top Fuel Dragster Championship this year. She may take it away from Joe Amato, maybe not. You've already won a couple races this year, right?
Right. Well, we've won 3 races, and we beat Joe Amato in 2 of those finals. But as I said, unfortunately, I don't know the exact reason, but our performance has fallen off a bit, and we need to get back and be competitive again.
It's really amazing that women can be really competitive in Top Fuel Dragster, in the most in the highest form of racing that there is in drag racing. That just blows me away.
The reason for that is because drag racing is not a physical sport. Even though we're considered athletes, we're actually mental athletes. There's a lot of mental capacity that you need to do this because there's so much concentration involved. But you don't really have to be very physically fit. I think we are, as a group as a whole, we are physically fit, but it's not a sport of strength. So I'm not competing against the strength of a man.
Right. Okay. And I guess that sort of happens in other forms of racing.
I guess so. I mean, yeah, and, to race for 500 miles and have a constant, you really, to race in an Indy car or a NASCAR, you really, I think, have to have more physical endurance and stamina.
Although Lynn St. James is really showing her stuff pretty well in the Trans Am circuit. She's doing pretty well.
Yeah, she's doing a good job. She's done a good job all through the years. I think she's very competitive. And I'm not saying that it's not, it can't be done. I imagine any woman could compete with a man on a physical level, but in drag racing, it's not really a factor.
So this is a mental game. You have to be fast off the line. Your reflexes have to be fast.
Exactly, and there's just a lot of things that go on between the time you leave the starting line and the time you get to the finish line. So it just is a very high level of concentration. And there's a lot of pressure and a lot of stress that goes into this type of racing. When you're in a car with 4,000 horsepower going up to the starting line for the final round, you have to be able to undergo the pressure of that. That's a pretty hard situation to deal with.
Just ask Don the Snake Prudhomme.
Yeah, Don Prudhomme knows about that. He's been through more of those, I think, than anybody in the sport. He's the winningest. We're one of the winningest drivers in the sport, actually.
And he's also working on his 4th car of the year. He's had a very disastrous year from that standpoint, just having difficulties with his car, a couple of flip-over accidents and another incident. So, even a gentleman with as much experience as he has, I mean, as we talked about before, it's such a team involvement. You're dialing in the car in every race. You're really never running the same exact setup at 11 o'clock in the morning as you are at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, are you?
No, it consistently changes, and that's why you need a good crew chief that can make good decisions and has the experience to know which direction to go in to deal with whatever atmospheric conditions might change or track conditions or whatever. You really need to progress as the day goes on. But Don Prudhomme he's showing a lot of strength and a lot of stamina through all this because it has been a tough year for him, and this transition's been more difficult, I think, than anyone anticipated.
How do you dial in a Top Fuel Dragster?
I have no idea.
Oh.
I wish I knew. That's not my job, though. That's my crew's and my crew chief's job, and they're pretty capable of doing that well.
So your job is to win, is to go fast.
To drive, just to drive. That's all I do.
And it's not just a matter of punching your foot to the floor and letting it go, because you're going to have different track conditions. You might go from concrete to asphalt, and you may have to feather the car a little bit. In fact, you had a race, I believe it was against Joe Amato, where both of you had a difficult time even getting to the finish line.
Yeah, that happens every now and then. It's just a situation that you have to deal with. That's what I mean about being able to think. A good driver is someone who can make a good decision quickly, because you don't have but a couple of hundredths of a second to consider what you're going to do or what you're not going to do. And unlike a lot of people's perceptions of what we do, those cars don't think for themselves. We're under control. We control them the whole time, and I think a lot of people think that you just leave the starting line and hang on, and the car does whatever it wants to do. It's not that way. We control those cars, and we make them do what they do.
Jan, you'll see situations out here and at every track around the country where sometimes drivers will, what they call, they'll lose traction right at the beginning. They'll overpower the track. Other times, and this happened at Englishtown an awful lot 2 weeks ago, they'll overpower the track at about the 600-foot mark. And that gets into clutch alignments and settings, and also getting into the driver being able to react to it. I mean, it really gets to be an involved process, and there isn't any time to think. You got to know what you do, and Lauri does.
Well, I hope I do. I try to know what I'm doing. Every now and then it's kind of unfortunate because I make the wrong decision, but all that comes with experience. I'm at a little bit of a disadvantage because my competitors have been doing it for 30 years, and they've been down every road there is to go down, and I'm experiencing all that for the first time.
You know, another thing, and I'll mention this, this occurred about 3-4 weeks ago. I believe it was up in the Canadian race. But speaking of running for 30 years, gentleman that people know for a long time, he's been in drag racing over 30 years. They call him the Golden Greek. He's 62 years of age. Chris Karamessini's got into his first NHRA final just about a month ago. After 30 years, and of course, Lauri has 3 wins here in only her second season. Chris has been at it for a long time, but it was a real sentimental favorite up there, and he came in second. But, you know, the experience happens, and also you got to have the talent, and Lauri's been able to make use of that very well.
You know, the weather, can you talk a little bit about the weather with the dampness and humidity and being and the fact that we're a mile high? Is it going to make, are we going to be faster tomorrow?
No, we'll be slower. And the altitude is really a factor. Even though we create our own air through superchargers, there's still not enough oxygen in the air, or not as much oxygen in the air as there is at sea level and at the other tracks that we race at. So we have to run a whole different motor combination, different pistons, different rods, different camshafts. You know, the tune-up on the car, what we call the tune-up, which is all the factors that go into making the cars run fast, is completely different for this race. We build complete motors to come up here, and the cars will run a little bit slower. I think that you'll see faster times here than you've ever seen before. I think you'll see some 5.0 passes, but I don't think we'll approach the 4-second range.
Lauri, Bob Maston, Winston Drag Racing Manager, is here with me at the Speedway, has a question for you.
Okay.
Hey, Lauri, I just wanted to say you're only 1,500 points here out of first place. At the end of the year, we're going to write a check for $150,000 for the Winston Top Fuel Champion. I'm going to put you on the spot here. Are you going to be up there? Or
Bobby,
you got a motto in Orsby in front of you. Can you catch them?
No, I think, Bobby, at the end of the year on that podium, I'll be shaking your hand and taking that check from you.
Well, gladly, right? Sounds great. You got 2 of the best, though, in front of you.
Unfortunately.
Still no problem.
Unfortunately, and, you know, I've got a long career ahead of me, and I hope that sometime in my future I do win a world championship. If we get our act together and we win a few more races, we've got a shot at it. Amato and Ormsby are pretty incredible, and they keep surprising me at every race, so we need to get things going in the right direction.
Lauri Johns, I want to thank you for being with us at the Mile High Nationals and being here in Denver. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay, and we're going to go back to John Lynch right after this break on Jan Scott Tonight. John Lynch is with us live at the Mile High Nationals. We'll be back after this.
Some kiss may cloud my memory, and other arms may hold her through, but please do nothing till you hear it from me.
This Sunday at the I-76 Speedway, it's stock car racing and open-wheel racing at its finest. At the all-new I-76 Dirt Quarter-Mile Speedway, see the alcohol-fired late-model sportsmen, the mini-sprints, and IMCA open-wheel modifieds. Follow the Enduro Extravaganza Spectaculars. Every weekend, it's racing action at I-76 Speedway. Exit 75B in Fort Morgan, or call 428-5186 for schedule and ticket information. That's 428-5186.
Investors, here's Dr. Martin Zweig, who manages more than $3 billion investment dollars with some tips on the market.
I have 2 sacred rules. 1, don't fight the interest rate trend. 2, don't fight market momentum. If you can spot meaningful changes, not just zigzags, in interest rates and momentum, you'll be mostly in stocks during major advances and out during major declines. This kind of strategic switching over a period of 21 years produced 10 times the profits of simply buying and holding the stocks. My new guide to market forecasting tells all about my key indicators, which led to those huge rewards, and how you can use them. Please accept the guide as my gift.
You can have Dr. Zweig's new guide, plus a copy of his bestseller, Winning on Wall Street, a $20 value, free with your 3-month trial subscription to the famous Zweig forecast. Only $50 if you order now. Have Visa or MasterCard ready and call 800-526-5940, 800-526-5940.
And now, the only motorhead in corporate radio 5 nights a week. It's Jann Scott Tonight on AM 710, the business station.
Okay, we're back here in studio at KNUS. We just lost John Lynch, but we'll get him back here. John, give us a call on our hotline, 623-2324. Now we're going to have Kacy Spurlock with us in just a second. He's going to be joining us. Funny car driver at the Mile High Nationals. And we'll talk with Kacy right now, in fact. Kacy, are you there?
I sure am.
Hi, welcome to Denver. Welcome to the Mile High Nationals this year.
Thank you for calling. It's a pleasure talking with you.
Good to have you on the show. Okay, now I think we have John Lynch back. Do we? Here he is. John Lynch, are you back with us now?
John's on the way.
Okay. All right. We now have John Lynch with us at the Mile High Nationals. We're talking right now with Kacy Spurlock, and we have a funny phone system here, I guess, with us today. John, are you there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, we have Kacy Spurlock with us.
Great. Kacy Spurlock is quite a story here in Top Fuel Funny Car Drag Race. In fact, Rick Lawler is here, the communications director, and I wanted him to give you just a little bit of a background on what Kacy has done in virtually no time at all, Rick.
Well, Jann, Kacy Spurlock is one of the real rookie sensations, one of the future stars of the sport of NHRA Winston drag racing. He got his license to go fuel funny car racing 2 weeks before the Winter Nationals, which starts our season out in Pomona, California, and went on to win that race. It was certainly been one of the high points of the year. He beat Ed the Ace McCullough in the final round. And just to show that wasn't a fluke, he was #1 qualifier 2 weeks later, or I should say 1 week later, at the Arizona Nationals in Phoenix. Finished runner-up at the Gator Nationals again, racing Ed McCullough in the finals. And 2 weeks ago at the Summer Nationals in Englishtown, New Jersey, was #1 qualifier again. Definitely one of the stars of the sport. Certainly one of the highlights of our year has been his emergence. His dad, C.K. Spurlock, who is known for handling all of country western singers Kenny Rogers' tours, and owns the Gambler Chassis Company out of Tennessee for all those sprint car fans that are listening. But Kacy, in addition to his drag racing, has done a tremendous amount of road racing. I believe he's done some stock car racing. And Kacy, I know you're standing out there. How would you compare now the funny car racing to all the rest of the motorsports that you've been a part of?
Rick, it's a different type of motorsport from a driver's standpoint in that there's very little a driver can do once the car starts down the quarter-mile drag strip to correct for a missed tune-up. If the crew doesn't hit the tune-up on the engine just right, there's very little I can do inside the race car other than keep it straight in the groove to actually keep the tires from spinning or to get the car to hook up harder than it already is. It's a very humbling sport for a driver. From my NASCAR days and my road race days, I always prided myself in being able to take a race car that wasn't handling properly and still be able to keep it up front. So it's humbling as a driver.
Missing the tune-up, Kacy, that's a point that, especially in this sport, you miss it low or you miss it high. I mean, you can be too powerful or not powerful enough.
That's very true, and we call that tire shake when it's not powerful enough. The car doesn't actually have enough power to drive on its own tires, and you run over the tires of the race car, and it shakes the car very violently, which normally leads into smoking the tires from actually not enough horsepower. Then on the other end of that spectrum, you can get too much horsepower, like we had in Englishtown 2 weeks ago, and you smoke the tires as soon as you leave the line.
Kacy Spurlock, I guess, from Nashville, Tennessee. He drives a Ford Probe, won the first race of the year. He's at #5 in the funny car point standings. Kacy, when you did that, were there a few people that weren't too thrilled that you were in Top Fuel Funny Car after the first event?
Actually, we were accepted very well in NHRA Winston Cup drag racing. I think a lot of the competitors looked at us as a young lion, so to speak, coming up in the circuit, and I think they realized that it's good for drag racing. We've come in, we've gathered a lot of media exposure, and it's good for the whole sport. This is very much a family sport out here. I was very amazed. In fact, that was one of the first things that struck me, how close the competitors are out here. And I really have not seen, and I really don't think my crew has seen any jealousies from any of the other competitors. They've accepted us with open arms and welcomed us as a member of the drag racing family.
We're talking with...
Kacy, yeah.
Let me just let everybody know who we have here. We're talking with John Lynch, who is at the Mile High Nationals at Bandieme Speedway, the 12th annual Mofar Mile High Nationals. On phone with us also, Kacy Spurlock, driver of Funny Car. Okay, back to you, John.
Okay, and Bob Maston, Winston Drag Racing Manager, and Rick Lawler are with me here as well. Rick Lawler, the Communications Director for NHRA, and Bob had a question for Kacy.
Kacy, Bobby Maston here. You're currently running 5th in the Winston Funny Car points. What are you looking at realistically here for the end of the year? Can you move all the way up to, say, 2nd or 3rd, or are you really looking at number 1 still?
Well, I think at this point, Bobby, it's a little late for us to be number 1 in the season. We haven't given up. We're still shooting for the number 1 position, but I think we have a definite shot at 2 or 3. We had a problem for 2 or 3 races that we couldn't seem to track down. We finally tracked that down as an ignition problem, corrected the problem, and I think you saw it happen to our performance at Englishtown. It was right back where it was at the beginning of the year. I really don't think we have a shot at number 1, though. I'd like to sit here and tell everybody that we still have a shot at that $150,000 check from you fine folks at Winston, but I just don't think it's possible. I think we had a performance drop in mid-season, and this is such a tough class to be in. You have a couple bad races, and really, to be honest, you're too far out to get that far back. John Forrest, Ed McCullough, and Bruce Larson are right there at the top, and they've been running awful fast.
They're mighty strong, and they're mighty competitive, and I think you hit the nail on the head. It's such a competitive class that you're in, and yet if you can look at your rookie year, still shooting for 2nd or 3rd at this point of the year, it is a great tribute to you and your team.
Well, thank you, sir, and I think that's what we've got to look at. This is a brand new team. This is the first year we've worked together. This is the first year I've driven a Nitro Funny Car. And for us to come together that quick as a team and even finish in the top 5 or the top 10 in Winston points, I think we've really accomplished a lot, and I think it's something that we'll be proud of for years to come.
Kacy, we have to take another break here. I want to thank you for joining us by phone today, okay?
Thank you.
Kacy Spurlock. Okay, now before we go, let's go back to John Lynch back at the Mile High Nationals at Bandieme Speedway. John, you're still with us, right?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. This is a great show, and we're going to have Joe Amato with us in about 4 minutes or 5 minutes. He's going to be joining us. Jim White drives a Hawaiian Punch car. He's going to be with us. And Frank Hawley and Jerry Gwynn also in the next half hour. What about the weather? How are things? I know you've been doing reports all day long. We got rained out today. I did about 20 minutes of weather when we went on the air. What's it look like from your side?
Well, it's stopped raining. That's nice. The only thing is that you cannot run a dragster even modestly damp. It's got to be dry. It'd be the same thing as the circle races like at Indy. You have to have a dry race course. There's no such thing as running in the wet. Now, so far, we're okay. And by morning, it would be no problem. The question is, if there is some more rain, we're going to have some delays. But I wanted Rick to come on here for just a second before we go to the news, because there is a change in the schedule tomorrow, and we want your listeners to be aware of it.
Okay.
Yeah, John and Jan, we are going to open the pit gates and the spectator gates tomorrow out here at Bandieme Speedway at 7 a.m. We're going to start with some class eliminations at 9 a.m. The alcohol cars, top alcohol dragsters and funny cars will race or qualify at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m., and the pros will be qualifying at 12 noon and 4 p.m. But we do expect a full day of schedule, full day of racing, full day of qualifying going on right through 6 o'clock p.m. I would just like to say that the NHRA Safety Safari, and these are the crew that goes with us from race to race around the country on our 19-race series, they are the best in the business when it comes to preparing a racetrack. And I can assure you that this track will be in top drawer shape, and we would be looking for some track record performances this weekend out here at Bandieme.
Is there a way to dry the track out?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, they have what we were doing earlier today. There was a series of vehicles that were all going up and down the track to try to push some of the water off, and they were sweeping it off and squeegeeing it off and that sort of a thing. And then they have a jet dryer. In fact, it's just a jet engine in a trailer on the back of a pickup, and it's pointed downward, like a scoop on a hairdryer, and it just goes up and down the track, drying it off. And then they also use that in the situation if there's an oil down, because they got to get all the oil up and put the racetrack back into shape again. So they can, from when it finally stops raining, if it does rain, about an hour and a half, 2 hours maximum, we can be running again, depending on how much rain, and maybe even quicker.
Oh, sure, yeah. They can get the track cleaned and cleared and ready to go. You know, you talk about choreography, driving a top fuel dragster to a quarter mile in less than 5 seconds. You want to see some choreography, watch that safety safari in action after an oil down or a rain out, because what these guys really want to do is put on the best show for the fans and the spectators, and they get out there, they do the job, and that racetrack is 100% ready to go.
Okay. Now, also, too, I mean, actually, it'd probably be, let's face it, we may or may not have some showers in the afternoon, so if folks go, maybe bring a rain shell, but go because what you expect, 35,000 people there Saturday and Sunday?
Yeah, we do expect a big crowd, and, you know, there are lights out here. We have a very flexible schedule, and I would certainly urge the spectators to come on out and see what NHRA Winston drag racing is all about.
Keep in mind also that in Winston drag racing, we're talking virtually non-stop action, unless we're stopped because of rain or unless we're stopped on account of an oil down situation or something like that. Whether it's the pros, whether it's the alcohols, whether it's the sportsmen or the brackets, it's constant action, no dead time.
Now, can we, since we're on the business station, and maybe Rick, you could talk a little bit about this. I know there are a lot of corporate sponsors. There are a lot of business people in town for this race. Could you just speak to that for about 60 seconds or so?
I sure can. This is an $18 million series, the Winston Drag Racing Series. 19 races. We begin our season in Pomona, California in February and complete it back at Pomona in October. But we go into every major market area in the country over the course of the year. And when you add up all of the racing fans and spectators and corporate sponsors that come in here for every national event, you're looking at about $2.5 million a day coming into the, in this case, into the Denver market area. So you're looking at $10 to $12 million coming into the Denver area economy over the course of this weekend.
Is that right?
Yeah, it is. This is Major League Motorsports, as Lauri Johns alluded to before. But even more than just sports action on the track, it is Major League corporate business.
Your intro says it right. This is the business of motorsports.
Well, we are in the business station, you know, and I think Denver, and we're all getting a huge education about just how big business it is and what it does for our economy overall. Well, guys, that music means we have to take a break here and go to New York City for ABC Network News. We'll be back with everybody in about 4 minutes, and we do have Joe Amato with us. He is the defending top fuel dragster champion. John Lynch, the voice of KNUS at the Mile High Nationals, is there. Rick Lawler, who a lot of you have heard on 24-Hour Motorsports here on KNUS, is also there. We'll be back after we go to New York for the news.
AM 710, the business station, KNUS, Denver.
Direct from ABC News, I'm Marty McNeely. Supreme Court Justice William Brennan has resigned, citing his advancing age, a medical condition, as the main reasons for stepping down. President Bush says he'll meet with advisors tomorrow to start choosing a successor for Brennan. We asked National Law Journal reporter Marcia Coyle what she expects Mr. Bush to do.
President Bush, if he chooses to appoint another conservative, and I can't imagine that he would do anything different, will probably seal the direction of this court for the next 20 to 40 years.
Brennan was first appointed to the High Court by President Eisenhower. Brennan is 84. A federal appeals court panel has overturned one of Oliver North's 3 Iran-Contra convictions and ordered a review of the other 2 verdicts. It's now up to Special Prosecutor Lawrence Walsh to decide what's next for Ollie North. He might seek a review by all 12 appeals court judges or take the case to the Supreme Court. The appeals panel says it reversed the conviction because the lower court mishandled North's immunized testimony to Congress. Massachusetts Congressman Barney Frank says he accepts the findings of a House Ethics Committee report, which says he committed improper actions on behalf of a male prostitute.
The committee's recommending that Frank be reprimanded for fixing parking tickets, but some House Republicans say they want to vote to expel or censure Frank for his actions. NASA engineers now say they aren't sure if it was a helium leak that delayed Friday's launch of an Atlas I rocket carrying a science satellite. They plan to try the launch again Saturday. NASA workers tightened most of the 48 bolts on one of the Space Shuttle Atlantis fuel lines, but we won't know until sometime next week whether that fixed a hydrogen leak. The shuttle's classified mission's on hold until the problem's resolved. Mazda has announced the recall of over 102,000 1985 and 86 model 626 cars due to potentially faulty ignition switches. The company says the switches can wear out after extended use. For ABC News, I'm Marty McNeely.
Whatever happened to spending time without ever having to look at my watch?
Whatever happened to time for the luxury of breakfast in bed, and dinner in bed, too, if I want?
At Marriott, we know how precious your time is, so this summer we're giving you more of it. We've turned our 2 for Breakfast weekend into a mini vacation that can begin as early as Thursday and end as late as Monday. Whatever happened to slipping away for just a bit of coziness with my wife?
Or even a bit of craziness.
At Marriott, you can take the time to relax and stay a while, or do whatever and stay a while. Rooms start at only $59 per night, not per person. Availability is limited, but over 165 hotels are participating through September 3rd. Restrictions, of course, apply. Whatever happened to staying away till you're good and ready to come back?
Yeah.
Call 1-800-USA-WKND or your travel professional today for the Marriott of your choice.
The spectacular competition. Winston Championship Drag Racing returns to Denver and Bandieme Speedway this weekend with the 12th annual Mopar Parts Mile High Nationals. Superstar drivers like Ormsby, Johns, Bernstein, Snow, Fruto, Muldowney, Force, Amato, Larson, McCulloch, Oswald. You like Pro Stocks? How about the Mopar Dodge of Darrell Alderman, Glidden, Allen, Morgan, Ekman? Over 300 of the world's best drag racers battling for over $800,000 in cash and awards, plus qualifying for the Budweiser Top Fuel Classic, the Big Bud Shootout, and the Mr. Gasket Hearst Pro Stock Challenge. Save money with $3 discount coupons for qualifying, available at your Mopar parts counters at local participating Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, Jeep, or Eagle dealers. Qualifying begins Thursday, continues through Saturday with final eliminations this Sunday. Tickets at all Ticketmaster locations and Victor's gas outlets. The Mopar Parts Mile High Nationals this weekend. Bandieme Speedway in Morrison.
It's time for a new look at business, the business of motor racing. It's Jann Scott tonight on AM 710, the business station.
Okay, we're back here. We have with us John Lynch at the 12th Annual Mopar Mile High Nationals at Bandieme Speedway. He is live there at the Winston Suite. He's with GVK Sports. John does broadcasting all over the United States. He follows the national races every city that they go to, and we have the incredible pleasure of having him be the official voice for KNUS.
To the last lap run under the green. We have 2 cars off in the number 2 corner. It looked like we were going to get by. Everybody hit each other. About 5 cars got into each other. It looked like it was going to get clear, and then somebody ended up backwards, and everything got stopped. It is Leo Tucker, car number 9, which is sitting over in the corner. Leo, an excellent Colorado driver and a former champion of the Rocky Mt Midget Racing Association. We cannot yet see the other car, which is over there. It looks like neither car was damaged in this situation. They just had to get out of somebody's way. USAC, by the way, has a rule that the second time you spin out and they have to come out with a yellow flag, you're out of the race. So Leo Tucker goes directly to the pits. Obviously, he has more than just a standard problem. In the meantime, they are single file, and one of California's top drivers, Tommy White, is the other car that was involved in that accident, and they're bringing a tow truck in to hook him up, so it looks like Tommy White will not finish this main event tonight, and he is in a battle for the Western States Championship, so that's going to be a problem for him. We are now going to wait just a few minutes while we get Tommy White clear to the track. And Jan, I don't know if you're ready or not, but if you want to do a commercial, this would be an ideal time to do it. So we'll throw it back to you for just a few minutes, or a few seconds, really.
When you think of Burt Toyota, two words come to mind: dependability and reliability. You can depend on Burt Toyota to find the right car or truck to suit your personal needs. From the sleek and exciting Celica GT to the rugged and spacious 4Runner, Burt Toyota sells fun cars at affordable prices. What's more, you know you're getting the reliability of Toyota quality engineering and superior service. Dependability, reliability, and a high level of customer service makes Burt Toyota the place to find the right car or truck. It's no wonder that they're the second largest Toyota dealer in the U.S. Visit Burt Toyota and see for yourself. They're easy to get to, just south of Bellevue at 5460 Broadway in Inglewood. Or give Burt Toyota a call at 761-3222. That's 761-3222.
Okay, we're back here on in the studio, Jann Scott at KNUS. We're going to go back to Rocky Mountain Speedway really quick. Jerry VanDyke, you are there still at the Speedway, is that right?
Yes, we are. We've got all the cars lined up to begin to start. I think we completed one lap of this 30-lap main event, which was a great break for Dave Strickland because he crossed the finish line ahead in that one lap, and so he will be in the lead. Dave Strickland Jr. now in the lead. Frank Pedregon is running second.
Okay, before we go back to the race here, I want to cut away for about 30 seconds or 1 minute. Just break in, Jerry, whenever you need to. I do have Ted Douglas on the phone, who's the official track announcer at Colorado National Speedway. Did want to talk to Ted. I know, Ted, you've worked the USAC race for a long, long time, and you folks also have a show going on out there at Colorado National Speedway this coming weekend, actually tomorrow night, don't you?
Yeah, the Mountain Dew Duel. It's a late model 40-lap feature for the NASCAR Winston Racing Series.
On the asphalt?
That's correct, yeah.
All right. Okay, so that's tomorrow night out there.
Right. Starts at 7 o'clock. Time trials at 5:30.
All right. And this dirt midget racing is pretty exciting stuff. You've covered a lot of those yourself, haven't you?
I have. It is really exciting. And people, I think, that didn't make the show tonight are going to want to make it tomorrow night. It's an incredible show. Sounds like they're winding it up out there.
Are they getting ready to go, Jerry?
Yes, we are. As a matter of fact, the green flag is in the starter's hands, and he's been giving it to him way early, and they got it on the back straightaway, and they're racing once again. They'll be coming down to start lap number 2 at the start-finish line, but they gave him the green flag clear on the back straightaway. And there are 3 abreast coming down right now. And it looks like Jerry Coons has gone into the lead. Frank Pedregon is second. Dave Strickland, who started out in the lead, has gone back to third, is now battling for second, and those are your top 3. Jerry Coons, Tucson, Arizona. Dave Strickland now in second from Denver, Colorado, and Frank Pedregon from California in the third spot. And beyond that, there is a whole group of cars trying to fight their way through the field. Things are staying right now about the same. It is Jerry Coons, then it is Dave Strickland. Dave Strickland Jr., who has won a Rocky Mountain Championship, is trying to battle for second. The track is clear, and they are really flying. And we have got a car that has spun out on the number 4 turn this time, and the caution will come out. Caution flag coming out. We've got a car that looped it over in the number 4 corner. And I believe it may be Leo Tucker.
Leo Tucker, of course, president of the Rocky Mountain Midget Association.
It is Bob Davis, Bob Davidson from California, that has parked his car up in the number 4 corner. Okay, now we're getting things straightened out. Dean Ward from Hastings, Nebraska, who could have won this race,
how wet is the track,
is over
Jerry?
in the number 4 corner, and that's really a rough break for the people from Nebraska that enjoy it.
How wet is the track?
Okay, I beg your pardon. We've got a half-mile track here, and we're trying to identify cars, and it was Kenny Merrill, car number 39. He is being pushed off. It looks like we're going to get a restart almost immediately. Kenny Merrill, who is second in points this year in the Rocky Mountain area, is now going to have to go clear to the back. Jerry Coons of Tucson, Arizona, still leads this race. Second place is Dave Strickland Jr. We were looking for some of the top California drivers, primarily Robbie Flock and Sleepy Tripp, to see about where they were lying in the field. and they have not really done too well. It looks like Robbie Flock is now in 6th place and Sleepy Trip is in 7th. So Flock has actually lost some spots. Sleepy Trip is starting with this green flag about where he started the racing event. Okay, we've only completed 2 laps with lots of yellow flags, and the green flag is out again as they come down the back straightaway, and they go 3 wide into that number 3 corner, and all get through it without any problems. Again, once again, it is Jerry Coons that gets a good jump, but not good enough, and Dave Strickland goes into the lead. Dave Strickland takes the lead, coming on down. It is Jerry Coons that is now in 2nd, and Randy Roberts is fighting for 3rd spot at the present time. The track is clear. Well, Dave Strickland Jr. right now has it hooked together, and this could be a great Colorado win in the 21st Annual Mile High Classic. It is Strickland coming across the start-finish line. 2nd now is Jerry Coons. 3rd is Randy Roberts. 4th is Frank Pendragon from California. That is your top 4. And now Sleepy Trip has moved into 5th place. Robbie Flock laying back in 7th. And Dave Strickland now has about a 10-car lead over the 2nd place driver, Frank Pendragon, or Jerry Coons, I beg your pardon. And here comes Randy Roberts, and as he crosses the start-finish line, he is now in 2nd place. So it looks like now Randy Roberts is beginning to make his move. He goes a little wide in the number 2 corner. Pendragon tries to get him back, but it doesn't work. And Randy Roberts is now in a clear 2nd place. So it is 2 Colorado drivers, Dave Strickland Jr. and Randy Roberts, holding down the first 2 spots. Frank Pendragon, or I'm sorry, Jerry Coons, and car number 12 now is trying to work over Randy Roberts a little bit and gain a spot, but it is not working very well. Pendragon in 4th, Coons in 3rd, and it now looks like Sleepy Trip is in 5th and Robbie Flock is in 6th. So that is your top 6 at the present time. Dave Strickland Jr., Randy Roberts, Jerry Coons, Frank Pendragon. That's your top 4. The track has turned into what we call a dry slick track, which means they're going to be burning a lot of rubber. Going to be burning a lot of rubber, and we could have some tire wear before this one is over tonight because it drives almost like an asphalt track at this particular point. And we have a battle shaping up for 3rd place, and it's Frank Pendragon, and now moves into 3rd, moving Jerry Coons back to 4th, and Sleepy Trip still lying in 5th. Robbie Flock now trying to stay in 6th in a battle with another car on the track. He stays in 6th, and we're still rolling in good shape. Right now, Dave Strickland Jr. has about a quarter of a track lead, and we have a caution flag. We have a caution flag. We have a car sideways over in the number 2 corner. It is car number 71, Dave Lucero. Dave Lucero spun it over in the number 2 turn. And Jan, I'm going to throw this back to you, but we won't have hardly more than a minute because it's going to be easy to clear this car off the track.
Okay, let me tell everybody what we're doing here. We are at Rocky Mountain Speedway. Jerry VanDyke is calling the Roger Morrill Mile High Classic midget race from the Speedway. First time that we've done this race on radio here ever. Last year in our racing show we did do a couple IndyCar races at Colorado National Speedway. Ted Douglas, who was on the phone with us a few minutes ago, called that race, and it created a lot of excitement. Then, of course, last week we did the Mile High Nationals, an hour and a half of broadcasting, plus 2.5-minute reports, and Jerry VanDyke and Mitch Miller are at Rocky Mountain Speedway. Jerry VanDyke is a long-time broadcaster of midget races and doing a fine job for us tonight here on KNUS. Now, my name's Jan Scott. This is KNUS AM 710. We're not going to go to a break because this race is going to get back underway. They do have a yellow flag there. Jerry, what do you have a yellow flag there right now? Is that the situation?
Okay, Jan, we are back. We're still under a caution flag, but I think probably for only about one more lap.
Okay.
Dave Lucero spun the car. They've got the track cleared. Dave Strickland had a good lead, and that has all gone away as a result of this caution flag. So if anybody did not want to see it, it was Dave Strickland Jr. because right now Randy Roberts is right on the back end of Dave Strickland's car. The signal goes out for one more lap. We have completed 7 laps of this 30-lap main event, which means we have 23 laps left to go. Again, the cars are on a half-mile track. a half-mile track. And the signal is out. One more lap to go. We see the cars coming in front of us now. It is Dave Strickland Jr., then Randy Roberts, then Frank Pendragon. Then we have behind that Jerry Coons, then Sleepy Tripp in 5th, and Robbie Flock in 6th. Those are your top 6. And let's see if they've dropped the flag again on the back straightaway, and everybody goes crazy. Sleepy is trying to get somebody, and does. The guy that got caught really bad in that one was Jerry Coons. He lost about 4 spots.
But in the northern part of the state in Gainesville, I was actually born and raised in Canada, and we moved down to Florida back in 1984 and started a driving school down there, and I haven't really been active on a full-time basis since that time. And then after Darrell's unfortunate accident, of course, the guys gave me a call and asked if I'd like to fill in. So I've been doing that, and it's pretty exciting to be back on the tour again, especially in a car that's as competitive as the Coors car.
Okay, now, well, that's true, and you have Coors as your sponsor. Of course, they're located here, right here in Golden. How are you doing? How are you doing in the points?
Well, see, it's a difficult situation because the points go with the driver, and Darrell had been doing very, very well at the first part of the year, and then he had a couple races. There were a few races when the car wasn't competing at all, of course. When I started back driving the car, I started out with 0. So, although the car is very, very fast right now, we're not going to end up with a very high ranking in the points. So that really isn't a great indication of how well the car is performing. But, this race this weekend is kind of special for this.
Let me interrupt you. I want to go ahead and finish that statement. I just want to let everybody know we got John Lynch and back with us at Mile High Speedway. Go ahead. You were continuing that thought.
I was just going to say this race is a special weekend for us because the title rights to the race is the Mopar Dodge Mile High Nationals, and that is one of Darrell's and Jerry's sponsors for the team. And then, of course, Coors, this is their hometown, so we are going to have a lot of Coors race fans out there this weekend, a lot of people that work at the brewery, and we're going to try and do a good job for them. So there's a little bit of extra pressure on us this weekend to do well.
Jann, if I can interject here, and Frank has been doing a marvelous job. I wanted to ask Frank about one thing very briefly because he alluded to it before. Down in Gainesville, Florida, he's training a whole bunch of people to come out in here and beat him eventually. Tell us about that, Frank.
Well, I actually try not to train them to beat me, but do a very good job and represent our school well while they're out there. We've got been doing this for about 5 years now, and hopefully I'll do it a long time into the future. We have a school that actually teaches people to drag race cars. Probably 3/4 of the people that do end up down there have never raced anything before, so we have some cars that are a little bit slower than the Coors car that I drive. And then we have cars also that run over 200 miles an hour, and a number of the people have graduated from our school have gone on to do quite well. Kacy Spurlock's a good example in the Nitro Funny cars, and of course Lauri Johns, who's done very well in the Top Fuel. Dragsters the last few years attended our school a couple of years ago, so we're really excited about that.
And that's going on virtually year-round, and it's how long of a program is it if somebody just wanted to come down and take the primary course drag racing 101 or whatever?
Well, yeah, exactly. We've got programs that are less than a week. They're a few days in length, and it's a great introductory course. In fact, we have a series that we go to, selected national events that Castro Motor Oil sponsors, and it is competing this weekend out at Bandieme Speedway, and we have 8 of our best drivers over the last couple of years. They're in some of our school cars actually competing this weekend in the Mile High Nationals. So if anybody's out there and wants to find out a little bit about the school, maybe our school drivers are some of the best people to talk to.
And they're in Castro, GTX sponsored, and the cars are marked Drag Racing School, and they will be announced as such, and that's when they come up. I wanted to bring in Jerry here for just a moment, too, because a situation that really is a sad case, and I wanted Jerry to talk about how this really would come about in the 1990s. Darrell Gwynn was in England and actually running an exhibition program at a drag race. That's when the accident occurred, and right now we're running all over the country. People have really gotten together to help out the program, help out the recovery of Darrell Gwynn with a lot of different benefits. Jerry, what happened to the insurance?
Well, basically we thought we had plenty of insurance, and come to find out over in England they have socialized medicine and all, and
and our FIA insurance and our sanctioned insurance for the association that was running that race over there is no good. So we don't have any. And, so Daryl's got some extremely high hospital bills and care, and everybody's joined together and doing a lot of fundraisers, and we appreciate everybody doing everything that they've done to this point.
How is Daryl emotionally, mentally holding up under all this?
He's doing very well. He's probably one of the most upbeat person that you've ever seen in a situation like this. He wants to get out of there and get on with his life, and he's made a goal to go to Indianapolis to the U.S. Nationals Labor Day weekend and just be a part of that. Naturally not going to be driving or anything, but that's kind of his first big outing. He'll still be in the hospital as far as it goes. They expect to have him out about November the 9th, but he's going to have that weekend off, and if he has to bring doctors and nurses or whatever with him, he's going to get up to that race, he says.
We're certainly looking forward to seeing him there because Daryl Gwynn is one of the real good people in this sport. Bob Maston?
Jerry, my question to you, I've talked to Daryl, and I agree with you. He is a great, absolutely gutsy person, and he's it's like he's still with us every step of the way. I want to ask you a question here on the car. When you go through a series of runs and like you did at Columbus, I mean, when everything went perfect, I know you were conversing with Daryl all along the way. Is Daryl giving you any kind of input into the car? Is he still? I know he's interested in it. I know he's into it. Is he helping you with it?
Well, sure he is, Bobby. Like every run we made at Columbus, as soon as the car left the start line almost, I ran up into the tower and called him and let him know how fast we went and who we had outrun and who we were going to run in the next round, who had lane choice and that kind of thing. And Daryl is definitely a big part of the tuning part of that. He wanted to know what happened, how come it slowed down this run, how come it went quicker there, and we told him. And then when he was viewing the tapes the following night, we had taped it, and he was viewing the tapes of the final round. He couldn't understand why it slowed down, and naturally we were just happy and elated that we had won. And he said, "Did you see it drop number 2 cylinder, Dad?" And I said, "No." He said, "Well, look at it on the tape. There it did." And I said, "Sure enough, it did." So, I mean, he's aware of everything that goes on, and he can kind of tune by the seat of his pants in the hospital.
How'd you get the tape to him? Did you FedEx it to him?
Oh, well, I flew home that morning, and we had it with us.
Rick Lawler's got a question.
I do, for both you guys. Alluding back to Columbus and the Spring Nationals, Frank, it was your first time in the car, number 1 qualifier to go on and win the race. Jerry, it was your first time back since Daryl's accident in England. A Hollywood scriptwriter couldn't have written a different or a better story than that. But it had to be a real magic moment for all you guys and Daryl too.
Well, it was, Rick. The thing is that if you look at just the race itself and say, will this car with the people that have run it and the team and everything, as fast as that car is, what are the odds that this car would win this race? And I'd have to say that, there's out of 4 or 5 cars that were there, that car probably stood a good chance as any. But if you look at the entire picture with Daryl having his accident and then deciding to come back and then selecting a driver that maybe had been out for a few months and then the team being off a few races and then coming back and then being number 1 qualifier and then winning the race, if you look at that entire picture, I don't know if you could measure the odds. They're just astronomical.
Something else, Jerry, that has amazed me in this whole scenario is that after Daryl's accident and the team coming back, personal opinion, a driver like Frank Hawley should not have been available to you. I mean, what a great opportunity there.
Well, that's true. Frank,
he should have been in somebody else's car.
Well, that's true. Frank's an excellent driver, and we were fortunate to have him to select. We had other choices that we had considered, but Frank was like the first choice. And we were just happy that he wasn't driving somebody else's car.
Frank, what about driving here at Bandieme?
Well, this track's been very good to me. We came out here in 1983 when I was driving the Chi-Town Hustler funny car, which a lot of people in the city here may remember that car. And we were actually the first funny car to ever run in the 5-second range here. and then we won the race that year. We came back in 1984, and we got to the final round where Raymond Beadle beat us that particular race. So, you know, I've always had pretty good success up here on the mountain, and hopefully it's going to stick with us this weekend.
Well, let's hope it continues. Right now, a little weather update. No rain. It is drying out. There are pockets of water out there, but if it should be fine in the morning with if Mother Nature will cooperate.
Okay, you know, now we need to say goodbye to Frank Holly and Jerry Gwynn. Thank both of you guys for taking the time and talking with us tonight and talking with the fans here along the Front Range.
I need to interrupt 1 second if I can tell Jerry
Yes,
Gwynn
sir.
just very quickly. Jerry, I don't think I need to tell you this, but I will. You do know that I have a seat reserved for Darrell at Indianapolis if he can make it.
Well, Bobby, I can promise you that he's going to make it, so you better be ready for him. And
we've got him covered.
We have already made all the arrangements, and he's going to be there, and he's looking forward to it. And I'm not sure that the whole world's not looking forward to seeing him there.
Oh, it's going to be great.
Okay, well, thank you guys for being with us.
We appreciate it very much, and hope that we can do good for the Coors people this weekend. Thanks very much. It's been good talking with you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, John Lynch, we're about out of time here.
It's been great, though. Thanks very much for having us on here.
Yeah, hey,
Bob
sorry.
Aston and Rick Lawler and myself out here at Bandieme, and all of our guests from the drivers and the owners tonight.
Now, we will be hearing from you here on KNUS starting at, let's see.
Still here.
Yeah, I know you're still there.
Okay.
We got a little engineering problem here. Typical, right? I don't want to lose you. There we go. You still there? Nope. Okay. Are you there now?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay.
I hope.
It's been one of those nights, hasn't it, with the telephones? Hey!
Well, these things will happen.
Yeah. Well, they do. But listen, now you're going to be with us tomorrow here on KNUS every hour from what, 10 till 7?
Yeah, we got our first report coming in at just after the news at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, and then we're going to have hourly reports on up to the close of the track. And, of course, they have to secure the track at 6 o'clock tomorrow. That's why we have 11 o'clock with the alcohols, 12 noon with the pros, and then 3 o'clock again with the alcohols and 4 o'clock with the pros. That's a bonus really for the people coming out here tomorrow, because it was scheduled for 2 pro sessions but only 1 alcohol session. Today's alcohol run got washed out, so there's a lot of real high-speed excitement coming out here tomorrow.
Okay, then Sunday, you'll be doing hourly reports on KNUS from, let's see, 10 o'clock until 6 again, is that right?
Exactly, because the racing itself is going to get underway with the final eliminations right at 11 o'clock. And so we're going to be having not only the updates, but we're going to have calls of the individual races as well as time permits. We're going to bring every ounce of the action that we can from the pro sessions all Sunday afternoon right here on KNUS.
Okay, John Lynch, Rick Lawler, thanks so much for being with us here tonight, and we'll look forward to hearing from you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock.
Thanks for having us, and good night to your listeners.
Okay, and good night from Bandieme Speedway. I'm Jan Scott. You're listening to Jan Scott tonight here, and if you think it's gotten crazy so far, it's going to get wilder here. When we come back, we're going to talk with, we're going to talk with Don Wildhurt. Velo Magazine, we're going to get an update and report on the Tour de France and Greg LeMond and our guys racing bicycles over there. We'll be back. A little Harry Conniff to take you out of this deal. Jan Scott here for Ralph Champ Oldsmobile and Oldsmobile's Motorsports Division. You know, this year Oldsmobile won the NHRA Funny Car World Championship, the NASCAR Busch Grand National Drivers Championship, the NHRA Championship Drag Racing Manufacturers Cup. That's the 6th straight they've won. Oldsmobile also has won the IMSA Firehawk Touring Class Manufacturers Championship. They have won NASCAR's Darlington 500 this year and the Winston Open, not to mention victories in SCCA Trans Am and the IMSA Luke Quatch competition. That's Oldsmobile. This year, in 1990, They're winning all over the place. And if you want to test drive a new Oldsmobile, go over to Ralph Schomp Oldsmobile, 5700 South Broadway. Stop in, visit with Lisa's shop. Hey, Saturdays, go on out to Colorado National Speedway and watch the Schomp Oldsmobile race. That's Ralph Schomp Oldsmobile, 5700 South Broadway.
Making money shouldn't be your biggest worry. Your biggest worry should be managing the money you make. No matter how much you bring home, it's almost impossible to really get ahead without the right financial advice. If you'd like to find out how to potentially turn even a modest investment into a real nest egg, then find out about a company called Capital Management Group. The people at Capital are more than just financial brokers. They're adept at managing the risks associated with the markets. In fact, properly positioned investors can make money whether the market is up or down. And that's what Capital will strive to do for you, to give you a balanced, healthy investment portfolio. To find out more, call Capital at 1-800-235-5005. A professional investment team at Capital is waiting to put their experience to work for you. Call now and you'll receive a free copy of the Capital Market Review. Normally $65, yours free just for calling. No obligation. Call 1-800-235-5005. That's 1-800-235-5005.
Fitness, health, and beauty are not only important, but necessary in today's fast-paced world. Fit Guide magazine is full of valuable self-improvement information, national and local sports events, health editorials, and much more. Pick up July's edition of Fit Guide of Colorado at your local supermarket. It's free. Or call 337-4426. That's 337-4426. Fit Guide magazine. Pick one up today.
If you're a fitness or sports-minded business person, this message is for you. Head to the gym, softball diamond, or dojo in style with a Gold Coast Velcro workout baggie from Clarence Thatcher's Karate Studio in Racesl Shopping Center. For just $26, it has at least $10 less than the mall price. Choose from 4 sizes in blue and gray, hot pink and blue, and many others. The Karate Studio has what you need at the right price. Gold Coast workout baggies. Just $26 at the Karate Studio, Racesl Shopping Center.
From the 23rd floor of the Tabor Center, high above the financial district in downtown Denver, where the view is just incredible. Yes, it's time to relax with Jann Scott tonight on AM 710, the business station.
Okay, we're back here. You know, we're going to give away some pizzas from Blackjack Pizza. We have about 6 of those to give away. We're giving away tickets to the USAC midget races, Mile High Nationals, all that we're going to be doing here in about 15 minutes. Also, we've got tickets to Chicago and the Zephyrs baseball team. We'll be giving away all that stuff. Now, listen, that's going to be happening here in a couple minutes. Right now, we're going to go and talk with Dan Wildhurt. We also have Tom Fletcher's going to join us in just a minute. But Dan Wildhurt's on with us from Velo News, which is the largest newspaper on cycling here in the United States. And it's based out of Boulder. Hi, Dan. How are you this evening? Dan, are you there? Dan must be watching television. He was there, but he went away. Hey, Dan, come on back to the phone. We'll see if we can get Dan back with us here. Okay, hey, guys, check in on his hold button, see if Dan gets back with us. Tom Fletcher's with us, though. Hi, Tom. How are you?
Hi, this is Dan.
Oh, this is Dan. Oh, I see. We lost Tom Fletcher. Oh, great.
Sounds like you're having a great night on the phones there.
Oh, I'm having a wonderful night on the phones. It seems to always be this way on Friday nights. I never know who's where. I got a computer that doesn't tell me anything, which is sort of wonderful. But it's okay. No, it's just one of those things. So Dan is with Velo News. What's your circulation of Velo News, anyways?
It's about 30,000 right now. We're not the largest bicycle magazine by any means, but as far as those that deal specifically with bicycle racing.
That's what I meant, bicycle racing magazine.
Yeah. We're probably the largest.
You're considered to be the
The authority.
Yeah.
We like to think of ourselves as that.
Based in Boulder.
Mm-hmm. In the heart of it.
How often do you come out?
It's twice a month during the racing season, which is from about March until August, and monthly during the off season, so it's 18 times a year.
Well, that's pretty often. How many pages do you have in that thing?
We've been averaging about 80 pages an issue lately.
And it's the size of the Rocky Mountain News kind of thing, huh?
Yeah, it's a tabloid-sized paper.
Yeah. Do you have tabloid-sized stories in it?
How do you mean?
Well, you know how I mean it.
No, no Inquirer kind of stuff.
Oh, come on. I've heard that you guys have a little bit of... Any gossip on Greg LeMond, incidentally?
We do like to gossip a bit. Greg LeMond, as far as the tour goes, he's been a little cocky so far, I think. Not excessively so, not like some of the European riders have been historically. But he's been fairly confident the last week or so, since it's become evident that he's probably going to win the race.
Well, you know, I mean, I would suppose you have to. I would suppose you have to be cocky. You've won the thing twice. He's got to have that feeling of, yeah, and I'm going to do it again too.
It's kind of a psychological advantage that he likes to put on his competition as well. As you may have heard, is the leader of the race is an Italian named Claudio Chiappucci, and LeMond has taken to calling him Cappuccino, and I guess that's spread throughout the peloton, the pack of riders, and everybody's calling him Cappuccino now.
Oh, really? What do they call LeMond? Gunshot?
No, nothing that tasteless. Nicknames for Greg are like Le Monster, or what they call him in the French press.
Le Monster?
Yeah. I think that kind of started from when he won the Tour the first time in 1986.
I mean, I should think, you know, here's a guy that gets a shot he gets shot in the chest on a hunting accident, and I would think you call him Gunshot or something. I don't know, or the Hunter, or.
Well, I don't know if he's been doing much hunting lately, but he's become more of a trout fisherman of late. A little bit safer.
Shooting at trout, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, so from where you sit at Velo News, how do you see this stacking up? Is LeMond going to win this race or not?
I'd say it's a better than even shot that he's going to win. He's 5 seconds out of the lead right now. The decisive stage of the race is tomorrow. It's an individual time trial of about 28 miles. LeMond is probably the best time trial rider in the world. But the man who's ahead of him, Claudio Chiappucci, there was an earlier time trial in the Tour de France this year, and Chiappucci was only 40 seconds behind LeMond in that race. So anything could happen from past history, but LeMond not only is very strong physically, as good as he's ever been in his career, but he's also got the technological advantage. He's built a special aerodynamic bike for this specific stage of the race.
How do you build an aerodynamic bike?
It's got special aerodynamic wheels, special handlebars that allow him to assume a very narrow tucked position that reduces the frontal area that he presents to the wind, and aerodynamic clothing, of course. And basically, it's a mixture of aerodynamic positioning of the rider and the aerodynamics of the machine itself.
Now you have somebody covering in fact, we're hoping maybe to hear from him. Are we going to hear from, let me see here, he's a Frenchman and he's on your staff.
Louis Vigio.
Louis Vigio.
Actually, he's Peruvian.
He's Peruvian.
Right. He's a veteran photographer and correspondent. He's been to the tour several times and is well entrenched in the community. I haven't spoken to him directly today. I did speak to our editor, John Wilcoxon, who's over there today with Louis, and he was going to forward the message to Louis to call tonight. So it remains to be seen if Louis will actually follow through on that. He's pretty reliable, so I'd expect him to call.
Okay, well, and what city is he in France?
Tonight, you would ask that.
Yeah, well, I'm just kind of curious.
They're in a city called Limoges, which is in western central France.
Okay. And we should know, when he calls us, which will be somewhere around 11 o'clock, that'll probably be...
about 7 o'clock there.
7 o'clock in the morning in France. Wow, okay.
And the race, the time trial actually starts in about 3 hours from now.
Okay, so Dan, we're going to talk to you on Sunday night. You're going to be here at around 6 or 7:30. We're going to talk to you on do some final wrap-ups on Tour de France because it'll be over then, won't it?
Indeed, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, well, thank you for being with us tonight and taking time out of your party. Oh, actually, now you're in a mountain bike race tomorrow, aren't you?
Actually, the race is Sunday. It's a race called Ride the Rocks. It's up on Sugarloaf Mountain, just west of Boulder.
Right.
And the racing starts, I believe, at 9:30 in the morning. The beginner classes go off then. And there's also going to be intermediate classes around 11:30. And then there's a pro elite class race about 1 o'clock.
Okay, now that's going to be where?
On Sugarloaf Mountain, west of Boulder. I think it's about 4 miles up Sugarloaf Mountain Road, right near the fire station.
Okay, Dan, good talking to you tonight. This is Dan Wilhurt from Velo News, and we'll talk to you on Sunday.
Okay, thanks a lot, Dan.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Okay, now we lost Tom Fletcher. Too bad, Tom. If you're there, call us back because we are sure interested to know what you're doing. He's going to be in a triathlon this weekend, the Humana. He's also going to be here at 8 o'clock on Sunday night with us, where we are going to have, let me see here if I have my list with me. We have a whole lineup of world champion triathletes and bike racers that'll be on the show on Sunday night. Okay, but evidently we're not going to hear from him right now. Let me tell you what's coming up here, okay? We will have Clarence Thatch, Karen Turner, Marcia Buddy. They will be with us directly right after we take this quick break. But before we do that, we're going to go talk with John in Denver. Hi, John. How are you?
Good.
What's going on tonight?
Yeah, I was just calling to find out about that USAC Midget show.
Okay.
Is that a 2-day show?
Yeah, 2-day, Friday and Saturday, next weekend, 27th and 28th.
Okay.
You have tickets to it?
No.
You want some?
Sure, I'd like to see Sleepy Trip run away with it again.
Those guys are going to be on the show too. 6 o'clock Sunday night, right here.
Oh.
We have a whole bunch of the drivers on.
Good.
Okay.
Looking forward to it.
Good talking to you, and I'll put you on hold here, and we'll send you a pair of tickets for Friday night show. Okay?
Thank you.
All right. 825-5710 is the number here on KNUS. Jan Scott Tonight is the name of this show. We talk about motor racing for the first hour. We are going to talk about the fighting arts in a little bit. Karen Turner's going to be with us. Clarence Thatch, Marcia Buddy. What else? You know, I'm going to give away some pizzas tonight too. $90 worth of Blackjack pizzas we'll be giving away. I've got tickets, incidentally, for the Mile High Nationals, the USAC races. If you want them, call me, 825-5710. What else? Tickets for the Zephyrs game and the Chicago concert that's going to be next weekend. We got a bunch of those tickets here. I have my ticket list here someplace. Where the heck is it? Let me see here. Blackjack pizza. So you get 2 large of those. Are you hungry tonight? Oh, Up With People. I've got tickets for Up With People, June 29th. Starts at 2 o'clock. The Chicago concert at Mile High Stadium, July 28th. Starts at, and the Zephyrs versus the Louisville Redbirds, 2 in the afternoon. That'll be a fun show. We got a pair of tickets for those if you want to go. 825-5710. Mile High Nationals. I still got tickets for Sunday show. The Final Deal. 825-5710 is the number here. When we come back after this break, we will have Marcia Buddy with us and Clarence Thatch and Karen Turner. I'm Jan Scott. You're listening to AM 710, the business station. We'll be back right after these important messages.
You know what your TRW credit report says about you? You should, because the information in your credit report can make the difference between getting the credit you need and getting denied. For a limited time, you can find out what's in your credit report free by accepting a free trial membership in TRW Credential Service. You'll receive an immediate copy of your credit report to review, and you can request additional copies anytime you want. Plus, you'll be notified when anyone looks into your credit history and receives a copy of your TRW credit file, so you'll know who's looking into your credit too. Try Credentials for 3 months free by calling 1-800-252-5600. If you decide to continue, your credit card will be billed just $39 for a full year's membership. For an immediate copy of your TRW credit report and a free trial membership, call 1-800-252-5600 now. That's 1-800-252-5600. Have your Visa, American Express, or MasterCard ready when you call.
When you think of Burt Toyota, 2 words come to mind: dependability and reliability. You can depend on Burt Toyota to find the right car or truck to suit your personal needs. From the sleek and exciting Celica GT to the rugged and spacious 4Runner, Burt Toyota sells fun cars at affordable prices. What's more, you know you're getting the reliability of Toyota quality engineering and superior service. Dependability, reliability, and a high level of customer service makes Burt Toyota the place to find the right car or truck. It's no wonder that they're the second largest Toyota dealer in the U.S. Visit Burt Toyota and see for yourself. They're easy to get to, just south of Bellevue at 5460 Broadway in Inglewood. Or give Burt Toyota a call at 761-3222. That's 761-3222.
Are you thinking about ordering a pizza tonight? Well, stop right now. Blackjack Pizza has the unbeatable deal for you this weekend. 2 10-inch one-topping pizzas or 2 16-inch two-topping pizzas at an incredible price. Wouldn't a hot, fresh pizza taste good right now? Call Blackjack Pizza and take advantage of their unbeatable deal. Blackjack Pizza is the largest locally owned pizza delivery in Colorado. They're in Denver, Boulder, Greeley, and Fort Collins. Opening soon in Colorado Springs. Call Blackjack Pizza. Better pizza at a better price.
Hi, this is Dr. Frank Martin for Advanced Alternative Healthcare. Are you tired of constantly increasing healthcare costs? Are you tired of no results or no relief? Then I suggest you call us at 322-4300. Our consultations are free and we will do a complete blood chemistry for just $20. You shouldn't have to live with discomfort or pain or the possible side effects of pain-relieving drugs. Call us today and we'll begin working to put your life back on track. That's 322-4300.
And now, the most dangerous man in late-night radio. It's Jann Scott Tonight, where the topic of business is taken seriously.
Yeah, it's taken seriously, all right. Let's see. I think we ought to call Greg LeMond Gunshot. Listen to this here. Oh, my God. Unbelievable. He gets shot in the chest and wins the Tour de France twice. He's about to win it again. Jeez. It's too much. Now, we're going to give away some Blackjack pizzas, 825-5710. Big Bill Hamill from Channel 12 is going to be here. We're going to do an at-home with Wendy Bergen tonight. We talked to David Letterman's office. We're going to be talking about that later on, second hour, third hour rather. What else are we going to talk about here? We got a nut show. Dan Reeves. How about that? Up with People. They're going to be here at 12 o'clock. That'll be fun. And then we're going to talk about homosexuals and steer wrestling at somewhere around 12 o'clock. Also, we're going to have a bull rider on. Jeff Cathart will be with us. Champion bull rider from up in Wyoming. He's going to be with us. Steer wrestling for homosexuals. What's next? Now, let's see. James in Denver. How you doing, guy?
I'm doing great. I heard I got through.
Yeah, you got through.
All right.
And you want to go to the Mile High Nationals?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Because Lauri Johnson's awesome.
Isn't she? Hey, you want an autographed picture of Lauri?
Yeah, you got one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take one.
All right. Well, mark this guy down for an autographed picture of Lauri, and we'll send you to the Mile High Nationals on Sunday.
That sounds great.
Yeah. And what's your favorite kind of racing? Must be drag racing, huh?
All kind of racing. I like the roundy rounds too.
Is that right?
Yeah.
All right. And do you listen to our show all the time?
No, I'm kind of new to it. Just started listening to
Well,
it.
you better start listening.
Will do.
All right. We're on Sunday night too.
All right.
All right. Hey, thanks for calling.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Now let's see. We put him on hold. We'll go and talk. You know what else do I have here? Before we talk to Chuck, the number 825-5710. Oh, you know Kevin's coming up here from Blackjack Pizza. He's going to drive us crazy again. We always enjoy having him. It's called the Business of Making Pizza. Up with People. Those folks are going to be here. You want to go to the Up with Pizza? Yeah, the Up with Pizza event. That's, when the heck is that? That's Sunday the 29th. I got 4 tickets for that. The USAC Midget Races, Friday the 27th. We've got the Friday tickets for that if you want to go. July 27th at Rocky Mt Speedway. And, we may have a couple Ferraris here on Tuesday, I understand, and a midget down at the Taper Center. Last time we had a race car was an Indy car. And We had an Indy car on the Tabor Center, drew thousands of people. I also have tickets for Denver Zephyrs versus the Louisville Redbirds and a Chicago concert on Saturday the 28th, 825-5710 for any and all of that. Now, we're going to have Marcia Buddy with us here in a little bit, and we're going to talk about the fighting arts. Karen Turner's going to be with us, and some other folks who I don't know who they are yet, but we'll know in a little while. We're going to go talk with Chuck in Denver. Hi, Chuck. How are you?
Just fine. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. What's going on tonight?
Well, just got back from McNichols.
McNichols?
Yeah.
Oh, really? What was going on over there?
The Denver Dynamite.
Oh, Denver Dynamite. They play football, right?
Right. Arena football.
Arena football. Oh, in McNichols. Wasn't there some kind of reggae concert going on there, too?
Not tonight.
Oh, well, I thought there was. Yeah? Oh, yeah. How was that? Do they, oh, that's the last game tonight, huh?
Yeah, it was the final home game. Should be on to the playoffs now.
So, what's the deal? Why are you calling me?
Just to chat, but
yep.
I also heard that you had my national ticket.
Absolutely, we do. Did you hear we had a bunch of people, and we had Lauri Johns on, Joe Amato, a whole bunch of people from the Mile High Nationals.
Was that this evening?
Yeah, you just missed it. They were on for an hour and 10 minutes.
Too bad.
But you know, if you listen all tomorrow, we will have reports from 10 until 6, and Sunday 10 to 6 on the Mile High Nationals.
Sounds great.
All right. Look, I'm going to put you on hold, okay? And we'll send you to the Mile High Nationals on Sunday, all right?
Sounds good.
Okay, Guy, thank you for calling.
Appreciate it.
825-5710 is the number. We're going to talk with Rick from Denver. We're going to go to New York City right now to the ABC News. We'll be back, and we'll talk with Rick, and then we're going to talk with... we're going to do some ass-kicking in here, actually, in a little while. So, my name's Jan Scott. You're not. This is KNUS on the weekend.
AM 710, the business station, KNUS, Denver.
Direct from ABC News, I'm Marty McNeely. Supreme Court Justice William Brennan has decided to call it quits after 34 years as a leading voice of liberalism on the nation's highest court. President Bush says he'll meet with advisors Saturday to start picking Brennan's successor. ABC's Tim O'Brien was asked who Mr. Bush might consider.
Among the names that have been bandied about over the last few years have been Kenneth Starr, the U.S. Solicitor General, also Carla Hills, a prominent Republican, former Secretary of Housing, federal judges Frank Easterbrook and Alex Kuczynski on the West Coast. Also, Senator Orrin Hatch has been mentioned prominently. He's a candidate who could be confirmed easily by his colleagues in the Senate.
Ex-White House aide Oliver North says he's glad a federal appeals court panel set aside his Iran-Contra convictions for further review. North says he hopes the Iran-Contra special prosecutor, in his words, ends it now. American Airlines has unveiled a new air safety device, a traffic alert and collision avoidance system called TCAS. They invited some reporters to go aboard one of their Boeing 757 jets Friday for a demonstration of the new system. ABC's Jim Ryan went along.
Americans staged several carefully planned near misses between a Boeing 757 and a smaller jet to show how its traffic alert and collision avoidance system works. As the two planes drew near, the pilot heard a computer-generated voice.
Traffic.
Then, if the course is not changed, a command to lose altitude.
Descend.
There were 100 mid-air collisions around the world between 1946 and 1986, so the federal government has mandated that all commercial airliners have this new anti-collision device before the end of 1993. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
A leak in a liquid helium line forced postponement of an Atlas rocket launch Friday night that was to carry a satellite into space to illuminate Earth's invisible magnetic field. A NASA spokesman says it's unlikely another launch attempt could be made Saturday. For ABC News, I'm Marty McNeely.
You know, when my car suspension felt shaky, I didn't want to hassle with it. I went to Sears. They're convenient. And I got new Steady Rider gas shocks for under $10 each.
Get Sears Steady Rider gas shocks with a 4-year, 48,000-mile warranty. Closeout priced for only $9.99 each. See a Sears suspension specialist for details and ask about convenient 7-day-a-week service. But hurry, quantities are limited. Don't ignore your car. Stop at Sears and stop with confidence. That's your money's worth and a whole lot more.
Right now, we're in the middle of a hot sale event.
Sears National Home Appliance Sale. And through Saturday, you can save $50 on our huge 20 cubic foot frostless Kenmore refrigerator with top mount freezer, just $599.99. Or save $170 on our giant 22 cubic foot frostless Kenmore side-by-side with water and ice dispenser, just $999.99. There's more at Sears National Home Appliance Sale at Sears Brand Central. So don't get left out in the cold. Prices may vary in Alaska, Hawaii, and Puerto Rico.
It's time for a new look at business, the business of motor racing. It's Jann Scott tonight on AM 710, the business station.
Hi, Karen. How are you?
Okay.
Hey. So, what do you want? Pizza?
Huh?
Do you want pizza?
How about tickets to Bandieme?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Okay. Do we have some left, guys? How are we doing in there?
Oh, please tell me yes.
I'm asking them. We have a list. We're supposed to be keeping count.
Okay.
Let's make sure we have them. We have enough left. Do we have enough left? I thought we had. What do we have? 10 pairs we were giving away. Let's see. Do we have any?
Out.
We're all out. Oh, gee, that's too bad.
Oh,
we
come
are
on,
out.
guys.
Let me see how many pairs we had. You want a ticket to Bandieme?
Yeah, I really would. Cause see, me and my husband used to go quite a bit, but we live on a.
Out.
We
You're
live
gonna have
on
to buy them. You should have listened earlier, huh?
Yeah, I just.
How about a pizza? Will that make you happy?
Oh.
No, huh?
I'll pass. I just was wanting to know, because see, me and my husband used to go quite a bit, but we live on a fixed income now, and we can't afford to go, so I just thought I'd give it a try.
You want to go to the USAC midgets? Want short guys run around in a circle?
Nah.
I don't know. It's the midget people and drag racers won't go to midget racing, and we just
well, drags are I think they're high quality. We really enjoyed them.
Yeah.
There's lots of nice people, and it's really fun to watch.
Well, thank you for calling, and I'm sorry. You want to go? You want to go hear Chicago?
Huh?
You want to go to the baseball game and listen to the band Chicago play on July 28th?
Sure, why not?
That might cheer you up.
Well, I'd rather go to Bandieme, but
I know. I'm sorry, darling.
I can't do that.
We ran out.
Yeah. Okay.
One of those nights. Sorry we put you through this. Good night.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. 825-5710 if you want some pizza. Okay. Joining us now in studio, Marcia Buddy is back with us. Welcome back to the program, Marcia.
Hi, Jan.
And we also have Karen Turner, who is who is Karen Turner?
Karen Turner has been a promoter around Denver for some time, but also was nationally recognized as a fighter and competitor herself.
And welcome to the program.
Thank you, Jan.
Hi, you have to talk really close to that microphone.
Okay.
Now you were telling me earlier that you were the #1 female in points. Could you explain a little bit about that?
I was the #1 female in traditional martial arts, fighting and kata.
And what does that mean for fans that don't know? Like for me, I don't know anything.
I think that we've determined that, but okay. The difference between if you're asking about traditional martial arts, did you see Karate Kid 1, Karate Kid 2?
Oh, sure, one of my favorite movies.
Okay. We have
besides all the Bruce Lee
point
movies.
to identify with.
Okay.
Okay. Karate Kid 1, Karate Kid 2. Basically, describe what was that?
That was just a bell. You go ahead.
Okay,
Karate Kid 1 and 2.
If you saw Karate Kid 1 and 2, well, then the tournaments that they did in those movies
Yeah.
depicts traditional karate tournaments, right? Karate tournaments are run on a point basis as opposed to like the thing that we're here to promote tonight, which is the kickboxing event, which is done by rounds like boxing is done.
Uh-huh. Now, and you were a world champion?
Yes.
From when to when?
From 1974 to 1980.
Would you talk a little bit about that? What was that like? I mean, that's pretty phenomenal to be somebody who is the top woman fighter in the world.
Well, I think that anyone who is involved in any area of their life, like for example, you with radio, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there comes a time when you study that thing for so long that you want to go out and you want to compete against others in your own area or your own arena, and you want to see how well you can do. And so when you walk into a traditional karate school and you take karate lessons for so long, then there comes a time when you feel like that you would like to go out and compete against other people that are in your own division.
Mm-hmm. And then you started winning.
Yes.
By points. Are you from Denver?
Yes, I am.
You are. And did this take you all over the world when you were on tour?
It certainly did.
Where?
Well, all over the world. I think that would take a very long time. Yes, I went a lot of different places. I did premiere performances for the Prince and Princess in Monaco. Mm-hmm. When she was still alive.
Yeah.
And then
they just did a thing about her in Geraldo today. Was she murdered or not? But we're going to talk about that with Bill Hamill later on.
Well, actually, a very good friend of mine just wrote a book on her called The Bridesmaids.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Oh,
Judy,
really?
Yeah. Very good friend.
Who was that?
Judy Quine.
Oh, does she co-write that with a man or no? Or she
no,
wrote it? Oh, okay.
She wrote the entire thing. She did not co-write it.
Wow.
She was one of the original bridesmaids. An interesting book.
Well, okay. That's a whole other...
Interestingly enough, she was also the same lady who was also involved in the sport of kickboxing.
Did you fight in Asia, too?
Yes.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
Where?
I fought in Japan and then in Thailand both.
Well, you didn't happen to be friends with Bruce Lee, did you? As a matter of fact,
I would like to say that was before my time, but I can't do that. So I knew Bruce Lee. I knew Bruce Lee. I was very close to his wife, but I wasn't especially. I mean, I wasn't really tight with Bruce Lee. I mean, I knew who he was, and we were friends, but I was not a good friend of his.
Is it true that he died from that his heart exploded from too much cocaine in the last movie that he made?
No.
That's not true?
No.
What happened?
That's not true.
Did he have a heart defect or something? Or?
No, he did not.
He didn't.
He had a brain tumor.
He had a brain tumor.
Yes.
I worked in London when he died and when he was making all those films as a newspaper reporter, and one of the things that in fact the newspaper I worked for, The Times, did a story on it, and they felt that he had died. Was he into drugs at all or not?
No, he definitely was not into drugs.
He was not.
Bruce Lee was the most phenomenal example of a physical fitness nut that you can possibly imagine. You know, I mean, I've heard every story that there is, and it simply is not true.
All
I mean, right
rumors,
down to the fact that he's running a health food store in Phoenix, and it's just not true. Right?
That's absolutely not true because everybody knows Elvis Presley's working there. Elvis is disguised as Bruce Lee.
He was a phenomenal martial artist, and I really hate to see those stories happen because he was sensational.
So it's truly a privilege then to be in your presence.
Well, thank you.
I guess is that the right thing to say?
I would think so.
Well, that makes a lady
almost
happy.
As much as privilege of being in your presence, Jan.
Speaking of in my presence, I'm really hungry. Are you hungry? If you want a free pizza, call us 825-5710. Okay. Okay, so let's introduce the rest of the folks that we have with us.
I'd like to do that. I'd like to do that. You want me to do that?
Sure, okay. You and Marshall jump right in. Let's have a free-for-all. All right.
Okay, first.